Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series here for the season finale at the Hockenheimring here in lovely Germany. Always a classic place to hop over and have an amazing race and a season finale in these wonderful Formula 3 cars here on Apex Racing TV. I'm joined in the booth by Sebastian Boscher-Williams and Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth. Sebastian, it's the end of a season. It's the end of the road for a few of these drivers. Are you ready for some single-seater action?
I certainly am. Good evening, everybody at home tuning in for another amazing ARA Super Series race. Yeah, I'm really sad that this is ending. This has been such amazing action. It's provided great racing, great drama at times, and certainly tonight is going to provide exactly that. Hockenheim is such an iconic track. Of course, gone through many changes from its first iteration all those years ago, but I think we've got one of the best iterations on there's ever been at Hockenheim, and we're racing at it tonight. It's got so many places for overtakes, but none of them are necessarily sort of guaranteed overtakes. Turn 1 is tricky but doable. Turn 2 the same. Hairpin is more of a conventional overtaking spot, but if you're feeling particularly brave, Sachs Curve has always, to me at least, looked quite opportunistic, and it's always feels good if you manage to make the move there. However, we've seen that corner has been very treacherous in the past. Just asked Sebastian Vettel that one.
Yeah, it is. I still have a little bit of PTSD for that German Grand Prix, but always that arena section, it will always catch you out. Such a very different thing in track. The first two sectors are from the very last sector. You got a lot of high-speed corners here, fast flowing in the second sector, and then a very technical and twisty and tricky final sector here. Now, this is more amplified in the faster cars you go. In the Formula 3, it's kind of like that sweet spot where everything just feels right in this car. And it's just such a fun track in this car. And, you know, if there's any track combination that you can just hop in, drive it, and enjoy it no matter what lap time you're doing, it is definitely the Formula 3 at Hockenheimring. Like, this track has it all, and you're just relaxed throughout the entire thing. Maybe not turn 1 if you're worried about track limits.
Yeah, turn 1 is very tricky for track limits. Actually, It's sort of one of those new breed of iRacing tracks where they the track limits are somewhat lenient, but if you even think about extending just that little bit more, it becomes very vicious, very quick, and some drivers might be having just to think a little bit about track limits in the long run.
Actually, I'm going to have to debunk you right there. It is not. The iRacing rules page show all the tire extending parts of the track. So Spa has it, Austria has it, Watkins Glen has it. Hockenheimring does not have it. You are allowed to run wide on the curb, but they haven't implemented the rules page on there. So the track limits are technically, if you dip a wheel on the outside of that curb, it's an off track.
Yep. Yes.
The track limits is the curb. Like, you can ride on that curb and not get an off track. So it's a lot more lenient than other games out there. F1 2021, I'm looking at you.
Yes, certainly, but what I was trying to sort of make the point is iRacing sort of went through this sort of era of quite stringent track limits, and I think they are here. Of course, in races I've done, struggled around here. Maybe that's just my driving. These drivers vastly superior. Rasmussen straight to the top of the timing stands at 1 minute 31.8. Not the quickest of times we've seen from him. He actually finished second in the practice session just a few moments ago. Hermer topped the timing stand in that practice session with Justin Negret up there in third, but Hermer not found the pace on this opening lap. Tyres still just coming into their window of maximum grip as we watch Justin Negret. This is here the guy I was talking about, Justin, who was third in the practice session, having a great run of form here at Hockenheim. Into the hairpin he goes. Takes a nice late apex. So much steering lock he put in there just to get the fronts to bite. That's a very nice exit. And he's away towards the Mercedes arena. I love this corner. Again, you can see a lot of overtaking action into here, haven't you? Can't you, Austin? I mean,
It's a very tight corner. It's a very good braking opportunity heading into this corner. You are exactly right. It's a very nice opportunity for an inside move, but it's also treacherous if you try to go into a move right here, because the car on the outside, they can just take a 1X, go really wide around that outside corner, and just get you back at the following next corner at that grandstand. So it's a very take and miss there, because if you go down to the inside and you both kind of check up, you're both kind of left in an awkward situation heading into the next corner. And if you're in a fight, maybe a third car is behind you, that third car is going to be getting a double overtake if you both kind of check up with each other. As Samuel Hermer takes provisional pole for 131 flat right there, 4/10 ahead of Lennart Schnabel in second place. Now all these tires are starting to heat up after everyone's first laps. They do have 10 minutes of open qualifying here. Some drivers are in a different group. Zwemstra and Torp, their names are actually grayed out right there. They're in a different server group here in iRacing. iRacing thought that 18 cars on a track at the same time was a little bit too crowded for drivers in a qualifying session, which I'm going to be honest, kind of is, which is why group qualifying is an amazing thing, and I'm so glad it's being implemented in this league.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not like IndyCar, but I'm biased like that.
Yes, certainly. I think it's making the drivers' jobs a lot easier. You have to say, though, that the drivers that are in the other group, it seems quite disproportionately... well, it's so you've only got about 4, 5, 6, 7 cars even in the second group. So most of these drivers are in group number 1. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. They have less track space. They are going to, encounter more cars on their laps. But really
more
crucially, more tow, exactly. They're going to have more tow, more ability to find the tow and even just follow a driver, on your outlap. And I've, in qualifying sessions where, maybe you're struggling a little bit, you can't find the pace that, say, Hermer or Rasmussen or even Lennart Schnabel are in the top 3, but you just follow them on your outlap and you go, oh, I can see that they're not really breaking through this corner, or are they taking this line? And you can sort of learn, with Hermer learning how to go even quicker up into the 1 minute 30s now, 1 minute 30.857. So yeah, we have a few more drivers in this first group than the second, but it's clearly not affecting Kevin Zemstra at the moment, 4th place and only about 6/10 off the lead. But yeah, very interesting.
The more cars you have on track, sometimes a little bit better news, especially if you're in especially in the other Apex Racing Academy series that we have here, or Apex Racing League series that we have. I know the MX-5s, we would love a group out there when we're qualifying, because hey, every car that you can get behind is another tenth of you can gain off of drafts. So the longer you can stay behind another car, the faster you'll go. I know this was also a thing in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Series, or British Touring Car Championship, whatever Sam makes me want to say it. But all I know is in the slower stuff, like, tow is really important. Now in these Formula 3s, you still can get a good tow, but it's not as important as it would be in, say, a Formula 4 car. Speaking of a Formula 4 car, if you love Apex Racing Academy and Apex Racing League single-seater racing, you are not going to be left alone at the end of this season, because launching up pretty soon is the IRO4 Apex Racing League series. So if you want to have a chance and drive on Apex Racing TV in the Apex Racing League, we got 3 classes available for you. We got AMs, Pro Ams, and Pros, 3 classes, and a Teams Championship as well for the Apex Racing League IRO4 coming up very soon. More information on ApexRacingLeague.com and also on our Twitters. We just announced that this morning, and as a lover of Formula 4 racing, I'm all for it.
Yeah, me too. Of course, the Formula 4, new to iRacing this build, been a very popular addition. Many drivers absolutely really enjoying the F4 and really liking its sort of quirks, and it is
an Apex Racing Academy. I need to clarify. It's not an Apex Racing League. It's an Apex Racing Academy, but it's on Apex Racing. I'll shut up.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, the F4, such a really, everybody's really loving it. If you thought that the F3 racing was good, the F4 racing is going to be even tighter, even closer, and even crazier, because it's a little bit of a slower car, and that just allows you to race that little bit closer together. And yeah, if you're even sort of slightly interested, I would say absolutely go for it. This racing in the F3 League has been some of my favorite racing to watch, and it always provides thrills and spills. And talking of thrills and spills, we have got about 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. Justin Negret in 8th place, starting another lap to see if he can improve on his qualifying position and sort of find that pace that he had in practice. Not really been able to find that so far in this ever crucial qualifying session. Of course, we do have more of the normal format of this league, so the evens and the odds are going to be split, so still got a chance to make it into the final. Even if you sort of start down in 9th place, everything is still to play for, but as any driver will tell you, just being ahead on the grid is going to help, but Justin Negret's not going to get that chance as the session has ended, and that's a disaster for anybody that was on the lap at that time.
Well, it's not going to be a disaster because you aren't immediately eliminated, because we go into our first of 2 heats, and this is your grid for heat number 1. It will be the odd numbers of the qualifying, so Samuel Herr will be starting up on pole with Nicholas Rasmussen on that front row, followed by Leonard Schnabel, Matt Gerstenbach, Justin Negret, Aaron Smith, Alexander Scarrett, Michael Blyce, Josh Lane, Michael Kaibach, Edward Pop, and Dorian Arroyo at the end of our 12-car grid. And, you know, a lot of drivers really like this heat format because, you know, it's less cars on the grid, less chance for the first race of your experience to really get, you know, to get involved in something. And it's kind of like a rallycross feel, honestly, where the top, well, it is a rallycross field because this is technically what it was stolen from. Sorry, Sam, I figured out where you got this idea from. It's basically the first odd numbers of qualifiers try to get in, top 8 advance to the finale, and then top 8 heat number 2 go to the finale, and then the top 4 of the consolation race go to the finale. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Who's going to be racing in the finale? Who's going to be cut? Are we going to be seeing any upsets? We're going to find out very soon here for the season finale here at Hockenheimring. And also, if you're a fan of this format, Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championships will be using the same format.
That's exactly what we like to hear. It's provided so many thrills and spills. Certainly for your pollster to Sam Hermer. He's had a disastrous couple of last couple of rounds, sort of making mistakes, being involved in accidents, and he's had all the work to do in the Consolation race. And let's hope for his sake that he has a clean one. We're on board with the very man right now. He's got the perfect view into turn one as the lights are about to come on. We're about to go racing.
It's
here in
time
Hockenheim.
to rock and roll as we are green here at Hockenheimring. And it's a great start from the second row, actually, as Lennart Schnabel gets right up onto the back end of Stefan Hermer, and the teammates contact with each other. Rasmussen and Schnabel make contact, and Rasmussen's around at the end of turn one. Schnabel falls down to 6 after making contact with his teammate. He might have front wing damage after that, but it's disastrous start for the Alcatel cars, making contact in turn number 1 with each other in heat number 1. As we have a replay of that disastrous start, watch Schnabel off the line just get a rocket of a start right into the back of Stefan Hermer. He actually backs off right there, but unfortunately his teammate got up onto the curb and got pushed out wide from that curb and into the front wing right there. And disastrous start for Schnabel. The front wing looks all right, but Nicholas Rasmussen down to 12th after starting second on there. Are we going to be seeing Rasmussen claw his way back into the finale spots? We might see him have to claw his way through the consolation race. But it's Hermer, Grischenbach, and Smith, Scarrett, and Schnabel, your top 5. Hermer, with that chaos at the start already, 1.4 second lead. So he's probably going to just have to kick back, relax, and just keep to himself this time.
Yeah, he's going to do it. Going to have to do that indeed. Really clumsy start there from the second row. Of course, first rule of motor racing: don't hit your teammate, and they certainly broke that fundamental rule.
I'm gonna have to say Rasmussen. Schnabel did everything that he could. He got off the line perfect, and Rasmussen hit that inside curve that bounced the car out wide into his teammate.
Somebody's round in the background. Sorry to cut in there, Austin. Blias is off. Kaibach is off as well. Oh, and there's almost a collision.
Oh my gosh, Rasmussen almost saw his race end twice right there. After Michael Blias goes around in turn 1, did he hit that inside curve?
I think he must have done. Two drivers making a mistake into turn 1, very reminiscent of German Grand Prix 2019 when both the Mercedes did the same. Of course, no wet weather running. We're going to take a look at the replay here and see what's going on. This is Kaibach that we're looking at into turn 1. All looks good.
Oh,
and the
yeah,
back of
back
him
wheel.
just round, and Kaibach there has to do a very good job of avoiding the collision, and everybody ducking and diving. And we've been talking about rallycross, and everybody was certainly proving their rallycross skills. This is Michael Blias, and he is the one that ended up with the spin. And what's going to happen here? Just cut away. Yeah.
Oh, Kaibach. Almost race ending right there. And then you see Rasmussen taking an off track just to avoid all of that. But man, luckily nobody was involved in that incident. So we are back live looking at Schnabel, the battle for 4. Schnabel goes down to the inside right there, around to the outside. Scarrett going to have that fastest speed on the outside. They're going to go side by side across the start-finish line, but Schnabel takes 4th place heading into turn 1 right there. So Schnabel, after that rocket of a start on the line and a little bit of an oopsie in turn 1 and falling back to 5th, he's now back into 4th place and trying to get the best spot that he can in this heat race. Heat race does carry on points, and very excited to see on how this one carries on for Lennart Schnabel.
Yeah, great recovery from Lennart Schnabel. Of course, he's been absolutely rapid this whole season. Scarrett thinking about the move to the inside. He's just a little bit early on the brakes. No, he's not. Down the inside goes Alexander Scarrett. They make a little bit of wheel banging at the apex. Schnabel has the overspeed to go around the outside, but Scarrett so late under brakes, just able just to get the car to do exactly what he wanted. I thought he was for sure either going to just not make the corner or lock his brakes, but he did neither. Great driving from the IGL Coatings driver, but Lennart Schnabel survives the attack, at least for now. We head through the Mobile 1 curb towards Sachs curb, and I think Schnabel pulled a little bit ahead, but he's off the road there, pushing to the absolute limit, and Scarrett is just looking so composed at the moment. He was composed under breaking into the hairpin, composed with the Mobile 1 chicane, where, the Mobile 1 corner when Scheibel wasn't as much. So Scarrett looking pretty good at the moment. Hermer as well, setting the fastest lap of the race by some 0.4 of a second. And we're on board with Justin Negret, and you can see how tricky turn 1 is. You know, Justin just turned in a little bit later than I think he would have liked, and it pushed the car so wide and crucially onto the treacherous curb on the outside. It's so easy for the ridge just to snap and you go around, as we've seen already today.
Yeah, 2 drivers already going around in turn 1. Now that everyone's kind of spread out just a little bit, the wheel-to-wheel racing into turn 1, and the kind of uneasiness is going to just kind of drop now that everyone's tires have warmed up. But the first 2 laps are definitely around here can get pretty spicy. Speaking of spicy, Rasmussen on Kybach looking to get back into the finale after that incident. Turn off his teammate down to the inside of the hairpin and gets in there with in 8th place with just 7 minutes to go right here. But Kybach not taking no for an answer. Gets an amazing run coming out of the hairpin, trying to pressure Rasmussen into a mistake right there. Looking onto the outside, forcing Rasmussen to defend onto the inside. Rasmussen, though, very good on the brakes, very good on the exit, able to defend very easily from Kybach right there. Kybach trying to make that fantastic sight that we love to see, a amateur driver beating out a pro to get into the finale. And currently there is one spot for an amateur driver to definitely make it into the finale, and that's currently held by Josh Lane right there. And it's going to take a big amount of oversteer that final corner.
Yeah, Lane really struggling out there at the moment. Track temp is about 35 degrees, so it's certainly not cool out there. It's certainly a challenge for the drivers. Rasmussen with a great recovery drive though, and if you're Michael Kybach, I think you're going to be pretty annoyed at that result, just from the fact that, of course, he had to avoid Blyce's spin into turn 1, had to go off the track and do his best rallycross impression, and that certainly lost him a lot of time. And you know, as a driver, you're always thinking, what if this hadn't have happened? What if, you know, I didn't lose all of that time into turn 1? And I think Kybach will be certainly thinking about that from the cockpit at the moment. And that was somebody very wide. That was Scarrett going extremely wide into the hairpin, all just opposite, locked up, and certainly not what you really want to be doing. And it is only a 12-minute race, but tires are so crucial, and Scarrett, yeah, really coming under pressure from Negret at the moment. You see how close they are to head through turn 10 into turn 12 even, so that's turn 11, I do apologise. And Negret's just got so much more command over that car at the moment. He's had the pace in practice, and he's finally showing that again. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a Williams-esque moment in the Miami GP of quick in practice. Couldn't find the pace in qualifying, but absolutely rapid in the race once again.
Yeah, absolutely. They were very quick into practice. Very nice to see. Definitely point scoring play right there. You know, maybe Justin Negret's dyed his hair red.
It is the way to go fast. Oh, he's very wide into turn 1 there.
He's definitely lighting up the timing tower red. I can tell you that off track.
Yeah, his hair is too ready to turn 1. Deep again into turn 2. Starting to overdrive the car now, sort of seeing Scarrett up ahead struggling, and as a natural instinct as a driver, you want to push a little bit harder, brake a little bit later into the corner, take a little bit more apex speed.
Oh, what's going on up ahead? There's a 3-car fight. Grischenbachen and Schnabel into the corner. Grischenbachen and Schnabel. Grischenbachen having to go wide. Schnabel down to the inside, and Smith is just up there. Sorry to cut away from you, but yeah. As a driver, you just see a car ahead of you. You just want to go for that move. I see this happen all the time in touring car racing. When you have that other big boxy car in front of you, you're just like, I want this guy out of my face. Any opportunities you have, you're going just like, I'm sending it on you everywhere. And you know, these Formula cars, it's a lot harder to do that. But you know, touring cars, those big behemoth tanks are really amazing to watch.
They certainly are, and yeah, I've heard the F4s are quite like touring cars in their racing style. Of course, you can sign up for the new season of the F4s here on Apex Racing Academy. Lennart Schnabel had an absolutely amazing race. He's up to 3rd place, so almost where he started with Aaron Smith, 4 places in second. He's been a little bit of a dark horse in this race. just sort of quietly lapping away in second, but coming now under pressure from Schnabel for that second place. And Lane's in the pits. Oh no, Lane's in the pits. Something's happened to our amateur leader, and that looks like a broken rear suspension. That certainly shouldn't be flopping around like that. That's not the optimal way.
I think he might have had a Sebastian Vettel-esque moment in the arena section. Might have just took a little bit too much in there and hit the outside wall. But Josh Lane down in 11th. He was in the finale without having to worry about it. And now Werner Kaibach is in the finale moment as we're side by side for second place. Aaron Smith and Lennart Schnabel side by side heading in front of the Mercedes grandstand. Smith onto the inside, Schnabel around to the outside. Schnabel's got to leave the room around the outside. He needs anywhere. He's got it right down there, and Schnabel takes second place, but Smith doesn't take no for an answer. Going down to the inside as they're heading into the mobile one corner. Aaron Smith back into second place, but he's taking too much speed. He's off into the gravel now. Schnabel takes it right back in second place. Now Smith down to the inside to the Bates corner in the arena section. Still side by side, and it's Schnabel round the outside to take second place ahead of Aaron Smith with 2 minutes to go here at the Hockenheimring.
Absolutely incredible move from Schnabel. Sort of conceded that after he made the initial move into turn 8, he'd lost the position going into turn 12, but knew, crucially, that turn 13 Sachs curve was a banked curve and he could take a little bit more speed around the outside, and played it cool, and he kept that position. I mean, great attempt from Smith there to try and keep the position. He certainly didn't let that one go down without somewhat of a very good fight. Talking to fighting,
and now
he's got past Scarrett. And Scarrett's coming back, and I think that's what you were about to say, Austin.
And now it's white flag. One more lap to go. Are we going to be seeing Smith on Schnabel one more time? Or are we going to be seeing any last lap overtakes right now from anybody already in the finale to just get a little bit extra spot on the grid? Yes, we are. Here's Scarrett on Negrete heading into the hairpin. Scarrett dives it down to the apex right there. Negrete, though, went wide on purpose to get the better exit heading in front of the Mercedes grandstand. Negrete onto that gearbox right now. Right onto the back of Scarrett. Negrete, are we going to be seeing around the outside? Yes, we are. Negrete looking around the outside right there. Scarrett defending that wonderfully. Switchback move by Justin Negrete. Switching from the outside down to the inside, but he set himself up for the outside once more. Getting a better run right now. Right onto the gearbox. Here goes Scarrett defending onto the inside. Justin Negrete going to go forced out to the outside right there. Heading into the mobile one corner right there. Negrete looking for another switchback. Dives it down to the inside, heading to the Sachs curve. I think he's just gave up that spot right there, and he's going to be heading into the finale as Samuel Herber wins heat number 1. And Schnabel, after falling to 5th on lap 1, finishes home in 2nd place. Aaron Smith in 3rd, Christian Bakken in 4th place. And it's going to be Scarrett in 5th, Justin Negrete in 6th, Nicholas Rasmussen from last to 7th advances to the finale, and Werner Kaibach is in the finale. The 232 made it in.
Great news for Kaibach there, of course. As I was saying earlier in the race, he was involved in that sort of scuffle at turn 1. There's a little bit of a clumsy accident. Yeah, another scuffle on the exit of turn 1. Of course, whoa, and there was somebody very, very, very wide into turn 1. But yeah, Kaibach sort of deserved that almost. He sort of, you know, he had to go off the track, had to avoid an incident, which he did very well, but lost out at the time. But yeah, after Lane's issue, we didn't see what necessarily happened, but that promoted Kaibach into the final. Of course, if you are any of the drivers in the bottom 4, you have another chance of getting that position. Here are the Heat 1 results, Austin.
Yeah, Samuel Herber, Schnabel, Smith, Christian Bakken, Scarrett, Negrete, Rasmussen, and Kaibach advancing to the finale. Who will be joining them in heat number 2? We're going to find out. Kevin Slemstrov's up on pole, followed by Kenny Larson, James Cockram, Thomas Torp, Henrik Anderson, Alex Lado, Joshua Alexari, Rickard Bobber, Kumbali Shani, Andreas Helgaard, Nick Poliard, and Tobias Olsen are, well, pretty much locked in champion. Will be starting in 12th place. I think he's got a pit lane start.
Very interesting. Yeah, I think he certainly has. As the lights are about to...
The entire back row is got a pit lane start. As it's time to rock and roll for heat number 2. It's green, green, green at Hockenheimring as we are off and ready to go. Great start for the 4th spot on the grid down to the inside into turn 1, but it gets held up by his IGL teammate right there That's Thomas Torp and Kenny Larson going side by side with each other, trying to chase down James Cochran right there, almost going 3 wide. Few cars going very deep on the brakes, trying to make up as much move as they can, as the IGL team getting a bad start, getting into its way, but a much cleaner start than race number 1, as Kevin Webster pulled away as James Cochran defending all the way down to the inside of the line, as Kenny Larson and Thomas Torp making it 3 wide through the Parabolica, heading into the hairpin. The 141, Thomas Torp on the outside, gets the better run out of there, locks in the brakes. James Cochran goes low. It's a switch back by Kenny Larson. They're 3 wide entry. They're 3 wide on the exit right now. Here in lap 1 at Hockenheimring, Kenny Larson backs off just a little bit from James Cochran, and now it's a side-by-side fight for Thomas Torp and James Cochran right there. Cochran on the outside, getting into the gearbox just slightly right there, but Thomas Torp able to make that move like butter, as he jumps into second place with James Cochran right on that gearbox. The 119 of Anderson is in there as well. And there's another bump, and around goes Cochran, and he's collected by Anderson. They're coming back into the arena section. There's a third car involved. Shawnee is involved right there.
Oh, disaster for Charlie. He was doing so good, had such a good opportunity to get into the finale tonight, but yeah, it's like, who was that? That was Olsen and Cochran, was it? I don't know, it was Cochran certainly involved, and they were sort of locked together. Never really seen that in the F3s before.
I've seen it happen in touring car racing where drivers' bumpers get into each other. But I feel like when we saw James lose the back end of his car, the 119 was just got, yeah, there's the tap right there. The 119 just gets locked into his suspension and then just floored it right there. They get collected by the 227, and oh, that is hurtful. And I don't know why Tobias Olsen is in the pits.
Yeah.
Was he involved in that? I don't think so.
No, he's still in the pits, so yeah, that's why I got confused, because I saw him in the pits. Apologies to Olsen. Yes, of course, it was Anderson, Shawnee, and Cochran involved, but how lucky was Hendrik Anderson? He was involved in quite a high-speed collision, and he's still in 8th place at the moment.
He definitely was involved right there. He's in the go-home spot, but oh my gosh, that really separated the field off in the back right there. But man, that was a heart-pounding incident if you're an Anderson fan. And you know, I'm surprised he doesn't. Does he have wing? Yeah, he does have wing damage. That front wing is a little bit wobbly. There's Tobias Olsen being 2 laps down. This has been an I don't know why our champion is doing this. Maybe he's just taking a victory lap.
According to our timing stands, he's had some form of incident on lap 1. So, yeah, not necessarily what we come to expect from.
Make contact with Nick Poliard, maybe coming out of the pits?
He might have done.
That's
actually
the only reason that he would have to go into the pits again if he made contact with Nick. And we're about to find out. This is what happened to Tobias Olsen at the end of his race. So he had a pit lane start, and oh, just lost it on the brake. Is this a hardware thing? Just stepped on the brakes and then everything locked up? Because that was weird.
That was very weird. It's like all of the braking force went to the rear of the car. If it wasn't sort of a simulator, you'd sort of expected the braking system to have gone wrong and just dumped all of the braking pressure to the rear, none to the front. Of course, the drivers can adjust what's called the brake bias. How much of the front and rear brakes do you want to use? You can adjust it from the car, but yeah, very strange accident, or not even accident, just incident, you'd have to say, from our championship leader and almost certainly champion of this season. This is Joshu coming under pressure from Boberg behind him. And what has Ricard Boberg done this season? He's been absolutely phenomenal, and you know, it says he's an AM driver. You can see that by the different colors on the timing stands and on the car, but he is driven like a pro. He's been absolutely rapid and relentlessly consistent, and he's looking for another great race here to finish out the season. And he is looking at that 5th place. He wants that position, and he knows that he can get it.
Yeah, the Crips racing driver absolutely on fire throughout this season and took charge of the Amateur Championship and pretty much led it every single race. Of Rickard Bobber is chasing down Joshua Algazari, looking for that top 5 right there. He's got Helgard right behind him, his pretty much closest rival throughout the entire season. These two have been on fire, and well, It's been a wonderful season for the Crips Racing boys.
Certainly has. Yeah, they are showing exactly what you can do as an AM driver. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are sort of demoted to the AM points. You know, you can get involved with the pros. This is Anderson diving down the inside of Helgrud there.
Oh, he's messed up
Up
that
his brakes a little bit, yeah, a little bit over optimistic. That's allowed the 238 car to have a run back at him as we head into the Mercedes arena through this flat out, but certainly not trivial right-hander. Now into Mercedes corner, Helgrud just sort of backs out of that one, sees the place is not necessarily his, and Anderson, after being involved in that incident on lap 1, up to 7th place.
Yeah, Anderson definitely knows how to wheel that car around here. Had a great start, unfortunately was caught up in that incident. It does look like he has some wing damage, but it's like the most minor wing damage I've ever seen in iRacing on this Formula 3 car.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We've seen sort of lots more damage for, you know, a lot worse, a lot less worse crashes even. You know, we've seen drivers, in other series, in fact, I've seen drivers running over curbs and their whole front wing just flies off. So I think Anderson is certainly needs to put some numbers on the lottery tonight, because he's certainly the one lucky man at the moment. And yeah, the only thing that he really lost from that accident was just time. You know, he's 12 seconds off the lead, which isn't too bad of a penalty really, after, you know, I mean, he wasn't necessarily, he didn't cause the accident, it was Cockram that sort of caused that accident more. Is Olsen once again comes out of the pit. So Olsen's looking at not even going to be qualifying for the final. I mean, how crazy is that?
Well, he's still got the consolation race, but yeah, it looks like he is struggling with that braking, as we just saw him once again, the rear end of that car stepping around and wiggling about like a dog at a barbecue. Honestly, it's just so tricky under brakes. I think there might be something wrong with his rig at home, because it's just not working. Are we going to be seeing another wiggle around the brakes? It looks much more stable at time, but I have no idea what's going on with Tobias Olsen. It just looks like a different driver or something going on right there, because it's just very awkward and unresponsive to him.
Yeah, certainly it does.
I think it's off the pace. Like, something's definitely going on with Tobias Olsen. Something's definitely going on.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Something is going on, whether it's the brake pedal or 101 different things. Out on track, while we were just sort of investigating Olsen's mystery problem, Joshu's had some form of adventure mid-lap. He's dropped 2 places, so Ricard Boberg is now up into 5th place, up 3 positions from where he started. Great race from him. And this is your 2nd place man, Thomas Torp, starting to come under pressure a little bit from Larson. Actually, no, Torp was a little bit quicker on the last lap, and Kevin Zwemstra has just absolutely rocketed away from these pair. Zwemstra's really quick at the moment. He's got the pace, he's got the consistency, and if you are Sam Hermer, you're starting to get a little bit nervous, I think, for the finale, because Zemstra's certainly looking like he is a match for Hermer, and we're going to see an almighty fight, as that is Zemstra actually proving me a little bit wrong by going ever so wide at the Mobile 1 curve, almost ending up in the wall.
Hey, when you get into that groove and you know you set the fastest lap of the race, you just keep wanting to put each lap purple and purple and purple and prove home a point. So, hey, he's just pushing it, finding all the limits, getting ready for the finale. This is just being treated like a, oh my gosh, 1:31.5, half a second faster than Torp right there. New fast lap for the race. It wasn't purple because he went off track.
Yeah, we certainly saw at least one of the off tracks that he had on that lap, but yeah, he's got absolutely incredible pace in the lead, and Torp is not a slow driver. He is not someone that, you know, is easy to beat. He is relentlessly quick, so to be half a second quicker it really goes to show how quick Zemstra is at the moment. Whether, you know, his driving style suits Hockenheim. I mean, he's been really quick in other races, but it seems here he's just that extra, like a couple of percent quicker, and whether that's through, you know, driving style suiting the track, or you found that little tweak in the setup, or a combination of those things, he is absolutely nailing it in the lead. And actually, that lap from Torp wasn't the greatest, and Larsson's caught up to him a little bit. So Larsson is within the second, within that crucial second. So he's got the slipstream, as you see on your screen now. And if you're Thomas Torp, you're starting to think about Larsson behind you.
Well, it's your teammate behind you too. So, you know, these two are teammates in the IGL Coatings team, and they've been very consistent throughout there. And, you know, they both want to make it to the finale. White flag is this lap for Kevin Slemstra, so one more lap to go. I don't think we're going to be seeing these drivers head in into a fight with each other as they're closing in on the lap car or James Cockram in the middle of them. So I believe if they do switch, it's just going to be agreed upon that, you know, they're just going to be switching. But this is also points do matter in the heat race. So the highest one of the championship or anybody in a championship fight between them, they're going to be giving them that spot. I think Thomas Torpa is just going to be staying in that spot, even if Larsson's right there. But for the big race, and the gloves might come off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's certainly, it's sort of a double-edged sword with, you know, teammates in races. Yeah, I think, you know, they are playing the team game. But then again, if there's any driver on the grid that you want to beat, it's your teammate. You really want to prove yourself against them. And
this is not like Formula One, okay? It's not that blood thirsty in Formula One.
But I don't think it's necessarily exclusive to Formula One. I mean, when you know, whenever I'm in a race with my teammate, that's the guy that you want to beat, because, you know, you sort of can measure up yourself to him the most. So yeah, I think they are playing the team game. Of course, you know, most of the overtaking spots have gone for this lap. So Larsson settling in.
I think it's just my view as a team owner that I don't really have that worry, because I know I'll still be in the team because I own it.
Yeah,
Kevin Slemstra comes home and wins heat number 2. It takes a little victory weave all the way underneath Barney right there. James Cockram comes home in 11th. There is Torp and Larsson in 2nd and 3rd. Lado comes home in 4th, and Rickard Bobberg, a fantastic finish in 5th place. Anderson, after that incident on the opening lap, comes home in 6th. Josh Yu in 7th, and Helgard. That's 2 AMs advancing to the finale in heat number 2. Poliard, Shawnee, Cockram, and Olsen will be heading into the consolation race. Only 4 of them to advance to the finale to join all the other drivers here in the season finale. What is going on with Tobias Olsen? Because one lap he's 5 seconds off the pace. The next lap he's putting in He's putting in times that are just about a second slower. So Tobias has been having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, the curious case of Tobias Olsen's race certainly deepens with his last lap time, a 32.1, only about 0.6 off Zemstra's best lap time. But of course, Olsen hasn't really done that many laps, and he's been in the pits quite a lot, so he's probably on a higher fuel level than the rest of the drivers. So
no, he didn't fill up, or
no, but like, he's
done less laps. He does less.
Yeah,
laps.
He's done less laps. He hasn't driven, so whether he's fixed the problem and is trying to sort of come back in the consolation race, not sure. Here are your Heat 2 results, though. Zemstra with that dominant win from Thomas Torp. Larsson in 3rd, Lawado 4th, Boberg a fantastic result in 5th, Anderson 6th, Josh Yu settled for 7th after making a mistake, but crucially within the top 8, and Helgrid was your final driver, definitely progressing to the finale, and this is your grid. Take it away, Austin.
Yep, Violet, Poliard, Pop, Johnny, Lane, Cockram, Arroyo, and Olsen. Your 8-car grid. Top 4 advance to the finale. It is the last chance qualifier here at Hockenheimring for the final time of the year. 8 cars on the grid, 4 cars advancing. It's time to get ready to rock and roll as we are about to go. Green at Hockenheimring. A very amazing start for the 3rd row once again. Nick Poliard, Edward Pop off the line, challenging for the lead of the race around the outside. When he got to the brakes, checked up wildly as Michael Blias through turn 1. Just flew through there as a big gaggle of cars trying to scramble for position. Tobias Olsen fixed his car, whatever problems. He goes down to the inside, and they almost make contact with Nick Poliard right there, who's around the outside, but Tobias Olsen went from last to 2nd place in 2 corners. So he's definitely fixed what was wrong right there. As right behind him, Pop, Poliard, and Cockrim, Lane, Shawnee, and Arroyo. They are 5 wide, 3 wide. They are battling whichever way they come down to the inside. The James Cockrim, as one of the cars goes extremely wide. That's out of our Pop, giving all the room down to the inside, looking like they can make that 4 wide. There's contact in the background, and around in the background is Josh Lane into the wall. Josh Lane and Shawnee gets locked up into each other. Shawnee and Lane, and that sent Lane up into the air and around. Josh Lane is into the wall, and his race and season is over with that incident, unless there is an almighty crash ahead of him. Here is that replay of what happened to Shawnee and Lane. There's Josh Lane, is kind of stuck in the middle right there, gets a tap onto the inside right there, comes across the track and right into the 227 of Kabali Shawnee. And that's given damage to Shawnee, as Shawnee has gone into the pits now. So Josh Lane and Kabali Shawnee. Lane, he definitely didn't have the track awareness to go from one side of the track to the other side right there. As it's a lapse of judgment, as a top 4 kind of on their own after that first incident, as Michael Bias with a 139.4 leads out Tobias Olsen. Well, I guess all the questions we had about Tobias and any incident he had, or any troubles he was having with his rig or simulator at home, is put to bed right there, as he's certainly back in the game with that driving style of his that we know so much.
Yeah, I mean, not only has he fixed the issue, he had supreme confidence in whatever issue that he might have been having with the brake pedal, he'd fix, because he was so late under brakes into turn 2. In fact, he got so close to the car ahead of him that on our timing screens, it said that he actually made contact. So it just goes to show how late and how supreme.
I mean, they did touch Poliard.
So, yeah, I mean, incredible job by Tobias Olsen, and he is catching Michael Blias in the lead. So yeah, we might see some more late maneuvers from our champion so far. Cockrum also had a great start, up 3 places into 3rd, so he will be progressing into the finale. And Edward Pop as well, after taking the adventurous line into the hairpin on that one. He
took the safe route, and with all the chaos that we saw behind him, hey, it worked out for him. So
it certainly did.
In his head.
Yeah, and even if he was to sort of drop back a few seconds, that's Blias moving to the outside of the track. Has he got some form of slowdown? He's conceded the lead, going to concede 2nd place to Cockrum, or is that a slowdown that he's got there, or is he just playing it safe, not really wanting to get involved in the lead or a battle for the lead?
I think he just saw Olsen and Cockrum behind him, and it's like, I'm just going to wait.
Interesting strategy. I mean, great awareness if that's the case from Blias there, just realizing that this battle for the lead between Olsen and Cockrum isn't his today. He just wants to get to the final. He's got a good gap, around 3 seconds between himself and Edward Pop in that crucial place. We're actually going to have a look at the replay, and we're on board with Olsen. And is there going to be any form of off-track or incident?
Only if he goes really, he's just let him by. He just let him by.
Yeah,
he knows he didn't have the pace, so he didn't want to fight them and risk getting out of the finale.
Yeah, it's a really, really smart driving there. You know, it's such a crucial thing as a driver, especially in these sprint races, to pick your battles well. And you know, and let's say for argument's sake, the Blias started to get involved in this fight, and they tangled, and he sort of got some damage that meant he was losing sort of 3-4 seconds a lap. He'd be swallowed up by Poliard, Arroyo, and even Charney. You know, and you lose. You might lose your place in the finale, or 101 things might happen. So just sort of knowing that actually it's not my battle, I'm going to let them go through, and if these two crash up ahead, I still will get the win. So yeah, I'd really like to see that driving at times. It just goes to show. And Cockrum there set the fastest lap of the race, but I think I've worked out his secret. Super wide on the exit of turn 1 there, carrying a lot of speed, and James Cockrum is looking like he's hungry for this win. And Olsen, he is quick, but I don't think Olsen is as quick as James Cockrum at the moment.
Well, Olsen, right before he didn't make practice or qualifying, he got into the race right when the registration went out, because before this he was racing in the RGB Predator series. So I think his issue was he was just getting used to the car again.
Oh wow, I mean, credit where credit's due. I mean, if you just jumped
Double
in from
header of a
another car,
race.
yeah, I know the feeling. Just jumped out of a car myself, but thankfully I'm sat
You don't have to
in the
jump out
commentary
of a
box.
car
Yeah.
to hop into another car. This is what Tobias Olsen's doing. You had to jump out of a driver's mindset into a commentator's mindset. So it's a different mindset, I can tell you. One, you have to drive fast. The other one, you have to talk faster. That's just on my end.
Yeah, the talking fast certainly a lot different from when you're driving. My bit of advice to people that are doing this is you just don't have to drive fast, because I certainly can't. Tobias also, though, certainly picking up the pace on this lap. Cockram hasn't really been able to respond to his own last lap. I mean, you would set a 1 minute 32 flat and a 1 minute 32.1. So actually, Cockram was still rapid on that last lap, but Cockram struggling a little bit out there, and Olsen, you know, once again sets the fastest lap. Actually, no, he does set the fastest lap of the race. Cockram was the 32.1, which makes a little bit more sense. So Olsen finding the pace out there. Of course, if you only just jumped in the car, you're learning lap after lap and just gaining more and more experience. And certainly as an experienced driver of Olsen, it's just, you know, you'll be picking up pace so quickly. And this is Edward Pop even in 4th place. He's in a little bit of a no man's land, Austin, here. He's got nobody really in front of him, and certainly nobody really challenging from behind.
Yeah, no one's really able to get close to Pop. 10 seconds ahead of the car behind him. Absolutely fantastic race, though. Fantastic strategy call by Pop to go wide right there. And, you know, 5 minutes remaining into this, 5 minutes remaining in this race. Edward Pop has pretty much punched his ticket into the finale, where you just got to keep it very nice, very calm, and very nice and very easy to just get into the finale, where Tobias Olsen, I think, is still wrangling this car around, trying to figure out how to go, because he was actually track extending just a little bit right there. Got to the gravel at the exit of the Mobile 1 curve.
Yeah, I mean, everybody pushing to the absolute limits. And, you know, if you are Olsen, Cockram, even Blythe to an extent, you've not got too much pressure from behind, so you can start to sort of see where you can push the limits, maybe. Take a little bit more speed into turn 1, as Cockram very aptly does exactly what I was saying. It takes a huge amount of speed into turn 1. Olsen, though, very unusually sort of close on the exit. Didn't get a great run, and that's allowed Cockram to catch up so much. He's going to get such a good tone now as we head towards the hairpin. Olsen going to have to start looking in his mirrors, start thinking about throwing some defensive shapes, as Cockram is relentlessly coming at him.
Yeah, Cockram is definitely looking at Olsen if he wants to make that move. This will be the fight for 18th place between them on the grid for heat number 1. Well, the finale. The heat number 1's already passed, but the very confident James Cockram on Tobias Olsen. Tobias Olsen, I must say, did come home as the winner of that race that he was just in right before this. So, you know, he's already felt the taste of champagne already, and he definitely wants a little bit more of that. I can tell you it gets addicting after a while.
Certainly it does, and yeah, no virtual champagne. I think we need to invent some form of that for iRacing competitors.
I think it's coming when the rain's coming.
Let's hope so. Would love that addition to the simulator.
Well, we already got avatars, so why not?
Why not indeed? We can only ask the iRacing devs and a little bit of a hope and a prayer on that one. You can see Michael Blythe in the background there, still keeping tabs with this leading 2, and I don't think Cockram's actually made the apex of turn 1 for at least 5 laps now. He's either really happy with his line, or he's every time he brakes a little bit too late. But yeah, very strange. You don't normally see drivers sort of constantly making mistakes. Is Cockram doing into turn 1?
Yeah, James Cockram is taking a little bit leisurely heading into turn 1. Sorry if you hear any noises in the background. Family is watching the IndyCar race right now, and I'm trying to annoy it.
Yeah, well, yes, if the IndyCar is sort of half exciting as this race is, then yeah, I think we'll all be watching it on catch up.
Well, they are in the rain, so I'm expecting chaos.
Oh, no spoilers, because that sounds amazing. Of course,
That's all I know is it was rain at the start, and whatever my dad is yelling in the other room.
Well, yeah, no rain in iRacing yet, of course, but it is planned And yeah, we might be seeing some crazy wet weather races in the simulator in the not too distant future.
Have you seen the leaked the sent out photo by Greg where he was racing the Formula V at Imola? That is
Yeah.
a beautiful photo. Side by side, wet weather racing. You just saw those trails. Oh, I gotta be honest. I have that saved as a wallpaper, and I'm gonna be excited for that. White flag in the air, and Olsen chomping at that curve right there. Boy, he's definitely found the groove in that car now.
He certainly has, just improving every single lap, and his consistency. His best lap is a 31.7. His last lap was a 31.8. So he's not only finding speed but consistency in that car as he just gets past one of the back markers. I think that's Arroyo, who has been involved in some form of incident out there. We've got a message on our timing screen to say that he went off the track and then had to go into the pit lane to repair some form of damage. So not the best of races from 6th place Arroyo. Unfortunately, that will be the last we see. Actually, I think he's just pulling off to the side of the track. But Olsen, what a great job he has done. Up 7 positions from where he started and made that amazing move into turn 1. And from there, it's mainly been plain sailing. Cockram challenged him in the midsection of the race, but didn't have the overall pace or consistency. Not sure if it was either or both of them there, but yeah, Olsen just streaking away at the moment, and he's going to, at least he's going to be in the finale. He's going to have a lot to do if he wants to be on at least the podium, maybe even a win, but it is certainly possible, especially with Tobias at the wheel.
It really, anything is possible with Tobias Olsen as he takes the win and punches his ticket into the finale at the end of the Consolation race. James Cockram comes home as well. Michael Blias and Edward Pop are pretty much in there as well. There's Michael Blias, and there's Edward Pop. He went extremely wide at the hairpin to avoid an incident, and he played it safe, and he is making it into the final spot in the finale. It's the end of the day for Nick Poliard, Dorian Arroyo, Kamali Chani, and Josh Lane. Got into an incident, Josh Lane, with that broken suspension, actually, that shot him across the track into Chani right there. So, very unfortunate right there, but that is the end of our consolation race, as it's Tobias Olsen, James Cockram, Michael Blies, Edward Pop advanced to the finale, Nick Poliard, Arroyo, Chani, and Lane. That's the end of their day and the season. And, well, they've been having a, they're going to be sidelined for the rest of the day. You're here watching the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series here at the Hockenheimring for the season finale. We'll be right back for our final race of the season after these messages. If you're a fan of Formula Racing, the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship joins the calendar to replace the Formula 3s on Saturday. So the same time, same place. Our elimination format returns again. I mean, with some tweaks, after 10-minute qualifying, the field is split into two, with half of the entries racing in one 10-minute heat and the other half racing in another 10-minute heat. The top drivers from each heat move straight into the A final, whilst the other have to fight for top places in the B final to get to the A final. This format has been found to significantly improve the quality of racing in the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VR Super Series due to the limited number of drivers on track at any time. It also ensures all drivers are fighting over crucial positions in their bid to reach the A final, which is always great viewing on the broadcast. If you're interested in signing up and racing in the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championships, head to apexracingleague.com. to find out more information about the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship coming to Apex Racing TV soon. And welcome back to the Hockenheimring for the final race of the season of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series. Samuel Hermer takes the final pole position of the year, followed by Kevin Slemsters, Lennart Schnabel, Thomas Torp, Aaron Smith, Katie Larson, Max Kirstenbachen, Alejandro Ledo, Alexander Scarrett, Rickard Bobber, Justin DeGrett, Hendrik Anderson in 12th place. And behind them, it's Nicholas Rasmussen, Joshua Agzari, Michael Kaibach, Andreas Helgard, Tobias Olsen, James Cochran, Michael Blythe, and Edward Pop completes the final spot in the final grid of the final race of the season. It's time for one last time to get ready, to get off your seat, and get a little bit excited and maybe a little bit wild as the 5 red lights are coming on, and it is green, green, green at Hockenheimring. And off we go to the races for one final time. The Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series as the 2 Alcatel cars going side by side heading into turn 1. Stop me if you heard this before. Swimstra and Schnabel almost make contact again heading into turn 1. And down to the inside, Swimstra defending from Schnabel, and Hermer locked up right there. It's a big incident.
I was so sure Herman was going to be around and out, but somehow we managed to keep it in a straight line, albeit not managed to keep it in the lead. Zemstra's through. Torp is through. Torp is in the lead.
They are 5 wide heading into the hairpin right there. Torp defending onto the inside. Herber stuck in the middle right there. Aaron Smith trying to sink a nose down to the inside. One of the Alcatel cars goes wide right there. There's a few cars just in the background as well. How did nobody crash right there? I don't know, but this is edge in your seat racing right now. As around the outside trying to defend and get the better exit is Thomas Torp defending from Kevin Swimstra. Swimstra, he's got to watch on his outside right there. That's Lennart Schnabel right there as they're side by side coming out of that corner. Look at the 142. Aaron Smith pressuring Herber right there. Aaron Smith dives it down to the inside of the one corner, and he's got it into 3rd place. This is lap 1. They're driving like it's the white flag.
Hermer has had an absolutely disastrous start. Started in pole position, down to 5th at the end of the first lap. Absolutely crazy move, I think is the only way to describe it, by Aaron Smith. This Torp is ever so bit on the exit of the final corner. That's going to allow Zemstra to come through. Smith behind is looking incredibly racy. Lennart Schnabel as well. Hermer in the background as well. We've got about a 7, 8, 9, 10 car battle for the lead. And Schnabel's around the outside into turn 2. Hermer's going to be looking at this with absolute delight. He's going to try and pick up all of the pieces he possibly can. Oh my God, if you got a race in store for the final race today, Hermer to the very extreme outside, couldn't find a way through, flicks towards the inside. He has backed out of it. That's going to allow Luede to come through.
Here comes Smith looking down to the inside of Schnabel right there, looking for 3rd place. Smith almost gets a little bit wide. They're bumping wheels like it's a touring car race right here. Schnabel and Smith, and we got a car parking lot in the background. Tobias Olsen is involved in it. 2 cars are parked side by side in the hairpin. Tobias Olsen involved in that incident right there. But it's chaos at the front, it's chaos at the back, and here we are stuck in the middle with you on Apex Racing TV.
Well, that was incredibly impressive, Austin. This race is absolutely living up to all of its expectations. It's like all of the racing for this whole series has been condensed down into one absolutely crazy 2 laps, to be honest. We haven't even got any more, and I don't think we can survive much more of this. Jensen Bakken in 7th place is in this train for the lead. Torp, and then there's 2/10 gap to Kevin Zemstra, who has had the absolute most perfect start. He's seen all of his rivals who was going to challenge him for the lead just fall by the wayside. Hermer in 5th, Schneeball albeit in 3rd, but Zemstra is looking down the inside into turn 2 on Thomas Torp. Oh! Torp's had to be pushed out wide. Zemstra's through into the lead. Torp will have to settle for 2nd place. He will get the slipstream though as they head towards the hairpin, but look at Lennart Schnabel. He is looking in the mirrors. He is looking ever so racy. Torp to the inside.
Torp's going to be forced to the outside onto the corner entry, though, going all the way out to the curb. He's got a lot of space down to the inside. He's going to be a little bit cautious off that exit right there as Zwemstra is onto the inside, but Zwemstra holds it a little bit slower off the exit. Torp is back to the lead, and now it's the 2 Alcatel cars. One on the outside, one onto the inside. Torp is still in the lead, defending onto the inside right there. Around the outside, here comes Zwemstra, though. Zwemstra's got a nose onto the inside of Thomas Torp. Thomas Torp getting forced out a little bit wide. Zwemstra and Schnabel nose to tail with each other heading into the Mobile 1 corner right there, and it's a 1-2 Alcatel right now as Aaron Smith gets caught up into the gravel, and Smith falls down the field. Hermer with a dive heading into Sachs curve.
Oh, and Smith almost into the side. Cockram almost into the side of Aaron Smith. There is not the best of rejoins from Aaron Smith. He was so late onto the brakes, into the Mobile 1 curve on lap 1, and unfortunately got it all wrong on lap number 3. Herber in 3rd place. Thomas Torp, who started the last lap in the lead, down to 4th place after an incredible defensive maneuver. And just to show how crazy this race is, P10, Larson has the fastest lap of the races. Who is that? That's Jensen Bakken down the inside of Luedo. Takes the position, but only momentarily. Luedo has the overspeed to go around the outside, and they're going to be racing towards the hairpin. Justin Negret in the background of this little fight with Rasmussen as well.
Christian Bakken looks fakes down to the inside, goes out wide, and that's right in front of the Negret under pressure by Rasmussen right there. Side by side they go, heading into the hairpin. Lado and Christian Bakken. Christian Bakken, though, round the outside is going to get better in the exit right there, as Lado, though, is covering off Christian Bakken, and it is a very confident move down to the inside by Christian Bakken on Lado, but Lado holding around the outside right there for 5th place. It feels like I've casted the Kentucky Derby 3 times now, as my throat is on fire, and I am loving it.
It certainly are. 9 minutes to go.
All around is Torp in the Mobile 1 corner, and he's in the gravel.
Oh, disaster for Thomas Torp. He was so quick. Towed back to the pits, almost in frustration there. No damage to the car. Hermer's Hermer! He catches it again. That's the 2nd time this race that he's had such a moment and just had to save it on the brakes. But that's put him under pressure from Luedo. It's a Zemstra Lennart Schnabel battle now, and they set almost identical lap times in the lead. This couldn't be set up any better.
This is what happens to Thomas Torp heading into the Mobile 1 corner. He just put in a little bit too much mustard into there. Back end goes around, and that is the end of his day.
Well.
The curb. That curb just upsets the car. You go around. There's nothing saving that one.
Certainly isn't. Disaster there for Thomas Torp.
Unlike what Samuel Hermer has done twice now. Save that car from almost near disaster right there. The fact that he's still in 3rd place is insane. Look at the 112. Christian Bakken down to the inside of Lado, as well as Larson doing the same as his IGL teammate right there. Christian Bakken now under pressure by Lado as Larson makes that move. Lado and Christian Bakken going side by side for 4th place now. Christian Bakken down to the inside once again. Deja vu. This is the exact same lap before. Lado round the outside of Christian Bakken, but now for 4th place with Christian Bakken getting a better exit. He's entangled in that diffuser right there. That front wing was buried into the back end of Lado. Lado going a little bit wide and getting a better run by Christian Bakken as he's under pressure by Rasmussen and Justin Negret. And off ahead of him, that's Samuel Hermer. Lado down to the inside of 3rd. Christian Bakken onto the inside of Hermer. Hermer's got punted off into the drag strip. Christian Bakken, elbows out, up into 4th. Hermer having a disastrous race right there as he is under pressure by Negret down to the inside into turn 1. I am speechless. This is the first for me.
Yeah, Herman, what an absolutely disastrous race. Joshu got past on the inside. Herman down to 9th. Another incident for Sam Herman. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, and he's on the curb, and once again he has to go to the brakes just to save it there. And that is not what you want to see if you're the cars ahead. And then contact there. Lucky, of course, that we don't have any rain, as we've been talking about.
Oh, that's an ice rink out there. That is an ice rink when that happens, and I am scared to see that situation. As we got a fight between the two teammates in the lead. There is no team orders here. Zwemstra v. Schnabel. Schnabel on Zwemstra, side by side to the Mercedes corner, as they are still side by side through it. They both sent it in there with equal ferocity. Zwemstra and Schnabel, Schnabel and Zwemstra. Oh my gosh, Schnabel wanting to win his home race, the 188, and Kevin Zwemstra want to upshow his teammate, the 194. The two teammates battling tooth and nail right now, but they need to continue this fight because right behind them, Leto and Rasmussen are closing in on them.
They certainly are, and if they're going to continue to sort of race side by side throughout the lap, it's going to be a few laps until Laredo, Rasmussen, Jemson Bakken, De Gret are all on the back of the top two. And yeah, Schnabel had such a great run into the hairpin, couldn't capitalize on it, but I think Zemstra struggled a little bit somewhere because they were sort of around this sort of distance a lap, one lap prior. I'm just looking at our timing screen. It's absolutely crazy. It's just positions are changing this, there, and everywhere. Olsen, though, hasn't had the race he would have wanted. 42 seconds off the lead.
He had to go into the pits, too. That car park, the one incident that we haven't replayed, too, there was a car park incident in the hairpin, and, well, he had to go into the pits to fix that. Ricker, Bobber, Kybach, Anderson, Torp, and Blias, I believe, are also involved in that as well as Tobias Olsen was. Actually, Olsen is showing that he didn't go into the pits and he's just stayed out, but that just shows you how far away Tobias Olsen was from the rest of the field, as this is some craziness happening down to the inside. Hermer and battling with Joshua Algazari right here, and there's the two IGL teammates right there of Scarrett and Larson now chasing down these two as they're side by side heading into the Mobile 1 corner. Hermer around the outside, getting onto the AstroTurf to make that move, and then down to the inside. Watch out, Joshua, that is Scarrett right there.
Scarrett so optimistic under brakes there, thankfully backs out just in time so Joshua doesn't end up spinning around as it would have been so easy for him to do. Hermer, certainly his confidence hasn't been dented after his multiple excursions. Crazy move around the outside. Tobias Olsen has had some other form of incident on track, so not the weekend that he would have wanted. And neither has it really been the race that Hermer would have wanted. All we would have expected is that Scarrett down the inside of Joshua. That's going to allow his teammate Larson to get the jump on both of them as they're side by side through turn 3, down towards the hairpin. As Schnabel's got past Zemstra, change for the lead. Zemstra's back ahead. Absolutely crazy racing out there. And Schnabel's got an absolutely mega run out of the hairpin. Zemstra's going to have to go all defensive as we head towards the Mercedes arena. Schnabel on the inside takes that position. How late does Zemstra want to brake? I'm guessing very...
pretty freaking late right there. They almost make contact, getting forced all the way out wide. Schnabel, though, held it around the outside and kept it going. Schnabel back into the lead on Zwemstra. This is Mercedes-esque Bahrain. Just bring the cars home, please. Type situation between these two teammates. They are leaving it all on the track.
My God, they are. And just to sort of illustrate how crazy this race is, the field spread is so tiny. I mean, the top 10 is separated by 10 seconds.
Jonathan, I'm going to ask, I haven't asked this in a while, can we bring up the dancing dots of doom on our track map?
That's the fastest lap of the race, so I'm waiting for that. So Hermer has the pace, just frustratingly not the track position. Absolutely crazy. It's such an incredible race and such a way to round out the season. Larson, though, Josh,
that is around. It's in the background. Smith in the background was at the trailing end, the top 12 in this massive fight right here. As they continue on battling through the Parabolica, Schnabel and Zwemstra. Schnabel defending onto the inside, the backhand kicking out right there. 2 minutes to go here at the here at the Hockenheimring, as Zwemstra all over the gearbox of Schnabel, trying to hold it around the outside, but now Schnabel defending onto the inside of Kevin Zwemstra as they continue on and going here. But man, oh man, this is some tight racing between these two, and nobody knows who's going to come home in the win. They are so balanced. They know each other's tricks in and in. Schnabel looking for a home victory. So is Zwemstra. Since we didn't go to Zandvoort this season, this is the closest race he has to home.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Both of these drivers very invested in this race win. Of course, it's just another race win, and drivers love winning.
White flag.
White flag, 1 lap to go, and just want to say that Zemstra's played his hand already. Zemstra has shown Schnabel where to defend, where to successfully defend. Zemstra's got to become very creative if he wants this race win. And look at that, he's just pulling out a little bit into the turn 2, just showing Schnabel that I am here and I want that position. And there's also a battle for third, Luedo and Rasmussen. I don't know where to look, Costin.
Well, it's time to get a little bit nice and dirty right now. Kevin Zwemstra and Schnabel heading through the Parabolica. Schnabel going very wide, going down to the inside, defending from Kevin Zwemstra. Zwemstra going on to the outside right now, heading into the hairpin. So they both go late onto the brakes. They both kick out the back end of the car as they both go wide right there. Schnabel staying ahead of Zwemstra, coming out of the hairpin. Schnabel, very nice defended, but here comes Zwemstra. Zwemstra into that draft, heading into the Mercedes grandstand. He's got a little bit of run. He's got a lot of toe right there. He's not going to go looking out to the inside right now as they go in front of the roaring crowd right there in the Mercedes grandstand. There's still nose to tail between each other as they get onto the drag strip right now, looking out for the Mobile 1 corner as they enter the arena. You are Zwemstra. This is where you need to go. And Schnabel goes out a little bit wide, getting caught up into the curves right now, heading into the Sachs curve for one last time. 3 more corners to go. Can Schnabel take the German racing flag to the top step of the podium? Yes, he can. Lennart Schnabel takes the final race victory of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 season as Leno comes home in third, Zwemstra in second, Rasmussen in fifth, Rasmussen in fourth, Gröschenbachen in fifth. Samuel Hermer in 7th place is put in the fastest lap of the race. A very horrible final race for him. And our top amateur racing driver is Andreas Helgaard in 13th. What have we just witnessed?
I think we're going to ask ourselves that question for quite some time.
Yeah, I can tell you what we've witnessed. The greatest finale in Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series history.
I certainly agree with that. Two teammates celebrating together. What an incredible, fierce battle between those two. So much respect as well being given to each other. They raced on the limit, but never over the limit. They gave each other just enough room, and it goes to show they both brought the cars home, and they are just slowly rolling down the straight. What an absolutely incredible race. And yeah, here are the results.
I don't know if your face hurts.
My face certainly hurts. I'll tell you what, Austin, I'll give you a little bit of a break. Lennart Schnabel takes the victory of that incredible race, with Kevin Zemstra, his teammate, settling for second, separated by 3/10. Luedo is third, with Rasmussen behind him in fourth, with Max Jemsen-Bakken finishing in fifth. Justin Negret had a great final race, up in 6th place, with Sam Hermer, your pole sitter, finishing in 7th after multiple excursions on the track. Kejit Larson is in 8th, with Joshua Alexaria in 9th, and James Cockram rounding out your top 10. Aaron Smith is in 11th after having a few excursions just like Sam Hermer. He comes home in 11th, with Alexander Scarrett in 12th after dropping a few positions on the final lap. I think he crossed the line with some damage. Your lead AM driver was Andreas Helgaard, as we were saying. He comes in 13th overall, with Edward Pop in 14th. Rickard Boberg is in 15th with Tobias Olsen, your champion, having not his usual round of racing and performance. He's in 16th with Michael Kybach in 17th. Hendrik Andersen is in 18th place. Thomas Torp is in 19th with Michael Blythe in 20th, and they were both unfortunate DNFs from this race. What can you say about that one, Austin? That's just some of the best racing we've seen. I mean, at the front of the field, in the mid-pack, at the rear of the pack, they all just went at it 100%, and we saw very few accidents for how close they were.
It was so close and chaotic right there, and only one could come up on top, and that would be at their home race, ladies and gentlemen, your race winner, Lennart Schnabel.
Hello?
Schnabel, you took the win in the final race of the season at your home track. How you feeling?
I'm feeling super happy. I had a good week with a couple of official race wins, and the battle with Kevin at the end was just way too good. I'm happy to win here at Hockenheimring. It's just a few kilometers from here, and yeah, I'm super happy.
Well, with your starts, you've been rocket off the line in heat number 1. You actually made contact with Rasmussen, your teammate. And what was going through your mind when you realized that you two made contact? Is like, oh, there goes my race, or was it just get back into it? And then did you even think that you'd be winning this race?
I wasn't sure if I was at fault. It doesn't matter, but I just kept my head down and went for it. Yeah, and made the best out of the situation.
Well, you certainly nailed it right there, coming home with the win in the finale of the race. It was a hard-fought win. What's it like when you know you're battling your teammate for the last 3 laps of the race and nobody else is around you?
It's a bit stressful, but at the end we are teammates. We usually don't run into each other. Yeah, I mean it was super fun. Congrats to Kevin on the 2nd place. Yeah, it was just fun.
Well, before we let you go celebrate with your teammate, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, my parents, especially my teammates. We had a great season together, with up and downs, but mostly ups. Yeah, it was a beautiful season, and also I want to thank you guys. Great season as the last 2 seasons I raced in. It's incredible series. Yeah, just thank you.
And we want to thank you for putting on an amazing show. Congrats on the win once again, Lennart Schnabel, on a fantastic performance throughout the season. And speaking of fantastic performances throughout the season, one driver with the number 1 had a most consistent race throughout the season until this race. It doesn't matter because he won the championship as soon as he signed into the server. Ladies and gentlemen, keeping the number 1 for next season, Tobias Olsen.
Yeah, hello. Thanks. I joined a bit late today.
Yeah, I believe you were racing in the RGB Predator series, and you won that race as well.
Yeah, I won that. It's perfect. Double championship win, maybe. What to say? Yeah. So.
Oh man, it's been a dominating season for you. But heading into today in Heat 1, I believe, or Heat 2, Heat 2. You looked like you were struggling with the brakes. You were wriggling under brakes a lot. What was going on in that race?
I had my load cell set for a set of course.
Oh no!
Yeah. I just needed to get some laps in to get the feeling for the track. So I didn't have any practice. I didn't have time this week to prepare, and yeah. But it feels really good to win this. I had pretty consistent wins throughout the season. maybe last round at Virginia I did a little mistake there, but other than that, I think it's been a good season again.
Well, you come home with the championship and, you know, a big smile on your face. Not the way you
Yeah.
wanted the season to end, but hey,
Nah.
you already won it by by the start of last round. So, you
Yeah.
know, the pressure wasn't really on you because you just dominated the opening part of this round. So before let's go to go celebrate this championship and probably beat your load cell to death, anybody you want to thank?
Thanks to Delta Sport, and thanks to you guys for organizing and broadcasting and keep up the good work. See you.
Well, thank you, Tobias, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And congrats on the championship and race wins. As now, Jonathan, anybody that we are looking for? Who should we go after next? We got Shawnee, Lado, and Smith in here. That's my choice. You know what? Let's go with Lado. So I'm joined by Alejandro Lado, who comes home in 3rd place today. Lado, how is that race out there?
Well, that was quite intense, to be honest. I had a 5-man battle in front of me going on for like about first 4 laps. So I was pretty scared that anyone would crash in front of me in the last sector, which is pretty hard to avoid a contact, you know. So I was just being a bit conservative at the beginning, hoping for someone to crash, and it ended up being like that. But then I didn't find the pace to catch up to Schneebel and Svenstrup. So overall, very good ending to the season, I guess. Second podium, sorry, or 3rd if you count the first heat podium. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, very happy for another podium right there. You're getting used to standing up there. After that, it's going to be the end of the Formula 3 series for you, but the Formula 4 series is coming up very soon. Are we going to be expecting you to hop into that?
Yeah, for sure. I actually liked a lot the F4 car when it came out. I wanted to race it a bit more through the season, but I have actually a very tight schedule, so mostly my main focus is on whatever I race in this league. So if it's an F3, I spend my time on the F3. So yeah, next season will be on F4. So yeah, I'm hoping to get some good results in the F4 because it's quite a fun car to drive in, and yeah, hopefully be a bit more consistent than this season because I had lots of ups and downs, mainly because of the schedule. But yeah, not an excuse. I have to be better and faster next season.
All right, well, glad to see your sights are set on the future series here on Apex Racing Academy and the Apex Racing League here on Apex Racing TV. But before we let you go, Lado, to go prepare for some Formula 4 action coming up in a few weeks, anybody you want to thank?
Well, you guys for hosting this series. They're amazing. Broadcasts are always fun to see and to hear. And also Racing Forces, my team, for the love they show always, and especially Gibbs. He recently joined the team like 2 races ago, and he's been working with me, especially because I'm the only driver for the team for F3. But we've been working together on the setups, and it's been amazing so far. But yeah, very good job from him, and yeah, just thanks to all the team and you guys.
Thank you for putting on an amazing show as always out there, Alejandro. Always a pleasure to see you out there on track and then posting your comments about the racing out there in the Discord chats. It always makes me smile that you've enjoyed the race and the broadcast as well.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you. Well, I am at a loss of words, of breath, and and everything right now. If there was a season finale to end all season finales, this one is certainly going up there. So I gotta say thank you everybody for joining us here for the season finale of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 VRS Super Series. Season 6 is in the wraps, but hey, racing on Saturdays here on Apex Racing TV is not going anywhere, as coming up next is the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship in just a little bit. But hey, and also upcoming few weeks, it is the Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Racing Championship. For more information, go to apexracingleague.com for more information about our Apex Racing Academy Formula 4 Championship. Signups are open. 3 classes, pros, pro-ams, and amateur drivers, all welcome in a team's championship as well. Thank you all for joining us here on Apex Racing TV. I've been joined by Sebastian Bosher-Williams and Jonathan Grabowski in the production booth. And I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.